Hey, this is Dr. Paul. Just wanted to leave a message. Just finished talking with one of my consulting clients, and I just learned that he does not train his staff essentially what's going on with the therapeutics in office. In other words, what he treats, how he treats it, why he treats it. They're just trained in the administrative procedures, and what I'm here to say is that's a big mistake. And the reason that's a big mistake is it's real important that your staff obviously trust you, know you, and like you, and believe in what you're doing. And so how that happens is when they understand what you're doing and how you're doing it and why you're doing it. As an example, with our staff, all our staff members get put through, as an example, if they were a patient. So we explain the 3 phases of healing. See, our patient care is based on the science of the 3 phases of healing, not subluxations. And so that's much more reasonable. There's no paradigm shift. We stay in our lanes, so to speak. It doesn't create any problems, and we get a lot of business, and we get a lot of trust, especially from our staff, because it makes total sense to them. So we explain the 3 phases of healing. Each of the 3 phases, number 1, physiologically. Again, that has nothing to do with me. That's third-party science. Number 2, we'll explain what are the common findings that we'll have in each of the 3 phases of healing. And that's what we're looking for to help determine what the diagnosis is and if we can help the problem and the degree of the problem. And then we'll explain the therapeutics. Well, what are the therapeutics we're going to use based on the inflammatory phase and based on the test that we found positive, and why are we going to use them? Same with the repair phase. We'll explain what's happening in the repair phase, what are the common findings that we'll find in the repair phase, and what therapeutics we're going to use to help affect active, passive, and joint motion. And then the same with the remodel phase. We'll explain physiologically what's happening based on the science of the 3 phases of healing. And then we'll go, okay, these are the common findings that we'll find associated to tell if it's abnormal and what degree of abnormality. And then we'll explain what therapeutics we're using to help affect tissue strength and elasticity, which is required based on the science of the 3 phases of healing. Now that creates a lot of trust, creates a lot of awareness, and obviously the patients love it. Makes total sense to the patient. And it's about them. It's not about chiropractic. But relative to the staff totally understand it. They believe it. They know exactly what we're doing, why we're doing it. It's not based on a philosophy. We're not saying that we can do everything. In other words, we're saying this is exactly how we find problems with the diagnostics, exams, x-rays, range of motion, all that stuff, muscle testing, orthopedic test. We explain all that. This is how we find and give a diagnosis. And then this is what their care is based on. So we explain the 3 phases of healing. We explain our therapeutic protocol and how it's quantified. And that makes a tremendous difference. And now we say this is how you shift the staff's attitude from it just being a job to now it's a conviction. It's a way of life. And that's, they're proud to show up to work. It's not just about a paycheck. They understand that what we're doing, how we're helping people, but especially, not only do they have confidence as the doctors in what we're doing, but this is how and why I got a lot of referrals from my staff. My staff trusted me and my associate doctors now with exactly what we were doing to refer their family members and friends, and they trusted us in several ways. Number 1, we were real clear that we don't treat everything. So we didn't promote the subluxation that, we can affect everything. We didn't do that. Now we explained the somatovisceral reflex as it relates to health, but that doesn't mean it's everything. And then number 2 is we explained what we do help. How do we find the diagnosis, what it's based on, and then what is our therapeutics based on, and then how do we measure it to see if the patient's getting better, worse, or staying the same. See, that takes staff members from employees to warriors. And that's just one example. There's several different categories that we educate our staff on, but that's like an absolute core they have to know exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it, and it has to make sense to them. And I'll give you, I hate to say this, but I'll give you an example. I'll do seminars, and I've had staff members in there before, and I explain the 3 phases of healing and what we're doing and why we're doing it, and they just love it. They're like, that makes sense. And like if they worked at another office that, promoted subluxations, almost all the time the staff member said, yeah, we didn't believe what he was doing, that he could do all that stuff. We didn't believe all that stuff he was saying, which is true. That is true. You can't claim to do everything. It's the first rule in marketing. When you claim you can do everything, you're nothing. And so there you have it. So we not only told them what we didn't do, so we didn't say we could help your immune system and all these. We explained the somatovisceral reflex, and then we just left that alone, and we focused on the neuromusculoskeletal and the science of the 3 phases of healing. And they love that. It makes sense to them. They loved it. They trusted us with their health. They trusted their family members because they knew we would tell them the right thing. We would be fair with the money. And if we couldn't help, they also knew we would tell them that we can't help. It's something we can't help. So, doctors, it's a huge mistake not to educate your staff members on exactly what you're doing, how you're doing it, and why you're doing it. It's a huge mistake. So make sure you take time out to do that. And now it won't just be a job. The value of what they're doing will significantly increase. They'll get a lot more joy in what they're doing when they understand it. They'll have a lot more trust in you, and it's a lot easier. It's a lot easier to get referrals from staff members when they trust, know, and like you. And if they have any hesitancy about what you're doing, or they don't know what you're doing, they're not going to refer anybody. So anyway, that's a huge concept relative to staff satisfaction, compliance, and retention. Trust, and that's one of the major components of getting staff to know, trust, and like you. For more information, you can check us out. You can go to drpaulhollern.com. And again, we're a consultant. We've opened 77 offices in 20 states, and we basically train chiropractors how to do how to maximize the profitability, how to hire, train, and manage associate doctors, and the 9 well strategies. And so we teach exactly what we did. So for more information, you can go check that out. But I just wanted to leave that tidbit today because I literally just got off the video conference with a client that was not, he wasn't training his staff any of this because he didn't have principles of why he was doing exactly what he was doing and why he was doing it. And there you go. That creates a lot of burnout, a lot of fatigue. Don't believe in what you're doing, and it's a good way to lose staff members also. Now it's just a job, and not many people will stick around if it's just for the paycheck. So if I can help you out, check me out, drpaulhollern.com.